It appeared without warning, a silent anomaly in the void between stars. For 2 centuries, the galaxy had known an uneasy peace, a fragile truce maintained by mutual destruction. But humanity, new to the interstellar stage, had been searching for something more, intelligent life. And then, 2 days ago, everything changed. A signal, real, directed electromagnetic communication. It led them to a rendezvous point, and to a being unlike any they could have imagined. A being whose very existence would redefine peace itself. Humanity was spreading through the stars. Faster than light travel, not as impossible as we once thought. Cracking it the first time was brutally hard, sure, but now we had it figured out. We were visiting star systems left and right. Turns out, habitable planets aren't as rare as we used to think. Life-bearing ones, also not that uncommon. Especially in our corner of the galaxy, our exploration ships were still out there pushing deeper, while scientists scrambled to catch up and colony ships lagged behind, stuck in the shipyard backlog. It was a golden age of discovery for that generation. Leading the charge were the SETI ships, small, fast, and curious. We'd found plenty of alien creatures by then, but none of them could think. No intelligence, not even close. Most of them couldn't outwit a housefly. Nothing ever communicated back. No signs of awareness. It was disappointing. Then, 2 days ago, everything changed. We received a signal. Real, directed electromagnetic communication, coming from somewhere between 2 distant star systems. We traced it, responded with every type of greeting we knew, and they answered, real contact. We started communicating. Simple signals at first, beeps and pulses. Our smartest minds were working non-stop to decode it. They made little progress. But the other side, they figured us out. They didn't just respond, they invited us. 1 human, 1 non-threatening ship, a rendezvous point outside known space. Risky? Absolutely. Obvious trap? Maybe. But that didn't stop the flood of volunteers. SETI got buried in applications. 1 ambassador was selected quickly. She was placed on an automated exploration ship and sent off toward the coordinates. When she arrived, the area looked empty. Not even a nearby star. Her scans picked up nothing. But after a second sweep, there it was. Another ship, small, barely detectable. She sent the standard greeting and immediately got a reply. An approach vector and an invitation to come aboard.
Shape is easy. Tell more. Of weaving machine.
The earpiece elaborated.
This room is simply a shell built to support the environment you need. Changing its size or shape is trivial. I am fascinated by your weaving machine. It builds complex devices so quickly. How does it understand what it is building? How do you teach it?
Anya Sharma sighed. This wasn't going to be easy. She barely understood the machine's inner workings herself. And the alien had just reshaped an entire room as if it were nothing. She had to keep her explanation simple. She started describing the process, but Xylar was quickly overwhelmed. The words piled up: processor, motor-driven, touchscreen, molecular fusing, and more. Xylar had to stop her.
I'm sorry. Too many words I don't understand. Let's return to that later. For now, I just want to know, how did humans build the weaving machine?
Was it embarrassment she felt, or the humans? The answer came short and baffling. The weaving machine was built by other machines, so this interpreter was made by a weaving machine, which was made by a more complex builder machine, and that builder machine also built by machines.
She had to ask again. How did you build that?
More confusion, more complexity. Machines building machines, each more advanced than the last. How far back did this chain go?
Did you build anything? She asked. With your own hands?
Inside the alien ship, Ambassador Anya Sharma found herself in a stark, smooth room separated by a transparent wall. On the other side stood a towering alien, 6 times her size at least. Its body was strange, part snake, part insect, thick tail for support, 2 massive arms in a mantis-like pose, and 2 smaller sets of limbs beneath. Its skin was the same flat gray as the walls, featureless and unreadable. She had been inspecting a strange device when the wall suddenly became transparent. The device, a smooth beige disc, felt warm and heavy. That's when it spoke. The alien twitched. Anya Sharma noticed it shifting more than usual behind the transparent wall. Despite the 10-meter drop between them, the movement of the massive being made her uneasy.
Well, no, I did not.
Interpreter? Apparel? Weaving machine? Ship? Built nothing? She answered quickly. All of those are built by machines. They're more precise than we are. But everything starts with our designs. And way back, we built the first machines ourselves.
A long silence followed. The alien looked past her, down the corridor toward her ship. Then it turned back.
Impossible, said the translator.
She waited for the full version.
You claim to have not built the interpreter, or the weaving machine, or the builder machine. Complexity comes from complexity. Intelligence cannot create greater intelligence. You say your hands built impossibly complex machines that made even more advanced machines. That cannot be. I'm impressed by what you've shown me. I can only conclude that humans came after the machines, and that you were created by them.
Anya Sharma's thoughts spiraled. Wasn't she standing in a spaceship, using a translator that bridged an alien language into her own? These were machines, complex ones.
Okay. First, humans definitely didn't come from machines. Second, you made this, she said, waving the translator, and this is a complex device. It translates between our languages. How did you build this with your simple hands?
Greetings,
The alien replied while she was still waving.
The translator is simple. I shaped it to vibrate from my thoughts, transferring those vibrations through connected materials to move the outer surface. That movement creates sound waves your ears can detect. It is unmoving, simple, non-intelligent.
What? That's insane. What about your ship?
The ship is simple.
She waited for the full explanation.
My ship holds an environment suited to me. I shaped it with many translators that turn my thoughts into energy and motion. It is also unmoving, simple, and non-intelligent.
Anya Sharma's eyes went wide. She held back from reacting too strongly, barely. Watching her language, she asked carefully.
So your technology is based on shapes? If I dent the translator, does it stop working?
Yes.
The voice didn't match the alien's size at all. It sounded like a warped child, filtered through static. The creature slowly turned its head, locking its 4 black eyes on her.
And your ship too?
Yes.
Anya Sharma threw her hands in the air, overwhelmed.
Then how is your ship powered? How does it move without engines? How does it work at all?
Silence. The alien didn't move. Was it thinking, or had she pushed too far? Then the translator spoke in a garbled burst of distortion. One word emerged clearly.
Shape.
She waited for her interpreter to explain, but nothing came. No translation, just silence. She began pacing again, then stopped herself. Fingers digging into her scalp, she tried to center herself. This wasn't a question for her. This was one for the engineers. She was here for diplomacy, to build bridges, to lay foundations for what came next. And clearly, that foundation was going to be a wild ride. They had at least one thing in common: frustration. Xylar could feel it in the human's voice, mirroring her own. Their machine interpreter couldn't grasp the math behind her ship's design, the principles that allowed her to navigate space. Still, the human acknowledged the ship's complexity and admitted humanity couldn't replicate it. They apologized for their language, oddly, and asked to switch to simpler topics. So, they asked about the materials used to build her ship. That, Xylar thought, was easier. A welcome change from the maddening loop of trying to understand human technology. She tried forming an explanation using human words, but quickly realized there weren't enough to properly describe the knitting process or the materials. Maybe, like when they had shown her their timekeeping device, it would be better to show rather than explain. She considered what shape might appeal to a human. All she had seen so far were combinations of blocks and curves, nothing definitive. She settled on a simple cube. matching the human's size and the bright white color of their coverings. She forgot the welcome speech she'd rehearsed. All she could manage was, she gathered the required building blocks with her 4 arms, fused them carefully using her fingers, and worked quickly so the contact points wouldn't harden before connecting. It didn't take long. The result was a clean, precise cube. A wave of surprise hit her before the human even spoke. They were impressed.
"This is only a shell," she said. "A hollow shape without purpose. I built it only to show the process. I can't explain it in your language."
But the human was still amazed. They said they could now imagine how her ship had been made. And they repeated what they had said earlier. Humans couldn't do such a thing, even if they raised tens of thousands of people. Even with full knowledge of the process, they still couldn't build a ship by hand. Tens of thousands. That caught her attention. She had thought humans were few in number. A small group making noise 2 sectors over with only a few hundred ships. But now,
she asked, "How many are you?"
"About 22.5 billion, came the reply. "Why?"
Xylar froze. 22 billion. She couldn't comprehend that number. 10 planets couldn't hold that many. Not even 100. How did a species grow so numerous? Was it rapid breeding? But species that bred quickly weren't supposed to be intelligent, much less capable of spaceflight. Her body tensed. This changed everything. With that kind of scale alone, humans were dangerous, and they were clearly technologically advanced. She regretted sharing anything about her own species. Even that small amount now seemed reckless. There was only one thing to do.
"I am ending this meeting. I must leave immediately. Please return to your ship. This room will be removed shortly."
"Hello?"
But the human didn't move. Confusion spread across their face. They tried again, asking what had gone wrong.
"Please tell me why," the human said.
The alien stayed silent. It must have been the population count. Everything had been going well. After watching the alien demonstrate its construction skills, she had been convinced it could build anything it imagined, with just its hands.
The translator repeated, "Please, leave."
She stepped closer to the transparent divider and said, "Okay, I'll leave, but let me say this first. I came in peace. I don't know why our population frightened you, but you need to understand, yes, we are many. But we stand as one. We've searched the stars for others like us. And when we find them, we seek friendship. If you trusted me even a little, trust that all humans want the same. Peace between our species."
She held the alien's gaze, then turned away. She picked up the translator and the mechanical clock, walking slowly toward her ship. The hallway around her was smooth and organic, a contrast to the angular industrial docking tunnel behind her. And yet, where they met, the seal was perfect. No bolts, no welds, just seamless connection. As she stepped into the connector, she heard a faint voice, almost childlike, from the translator.
"Stop."
Too quiet for the translator to repeat aloud. She turned.
"I am apologetic. The past made me fear. Now back within range," the voice continued. "I am sorry for my reaction. This was unexpected. I believed humans were a hive species, localized, with shared intellect. Limited in number. I was wrong. My instincts come from the predators of my ancestors. Small, numerous creatures. That fear is hard to ignore. I was unprepared. My response was extreme. I ask for forgiveness."
The alien seemed smaller now. Or maybe that was just her imagination. Anya Sharma considered it. What would she have done if the roles were reversed?
"Your ship," the translator said, "is mathematically incorrect."
"I'm glad you thought it over," she said. "I understand now, and I forgive you."
She nodded. To her surprise, the alien nodded back.
Then it asked, "All humans? On one planet?" The alien continued, "I want to move past this mistake. Thank you for your patience. May I ask, how does Earth support so many?" Doesn't it exhaust your ecosystem? Or do you use machines and habitats?
Xylar couldn't stay calm. 14 billion humans lived on Earth, supported by technology. Another billion lived on ships and moons. Then the shock, 25 more planets with biospheres, all with human populations. She had assumed colonization meant creating habitable conditions from scratch. But had she misunderstood?
She asked, how did you choose these planets? And how many more could you colonize?
The human explained. They targeted planets with advanced plant life. Fauna wasn't a concern. None of the animals they encountered were intelligent. So far, they had found about 150 more suitable planets. Her instinct screamed that this was dangerous. They sought out living worlds, replacing native life with their own. Would they stop before they exhausted all of them?
She asked carefully, do you destroy the ecosystems you settle?
The human looked confused, then ashamed. They said they tried hard to minimize the impact. Long ago, they nearly destroyed Earth's biosphere. Since then, they followed a strict principle, exoplanet conservation. It was deeply valued. That stunned her. A species that once harmed its world now chose to protect others. It made sense. With their numbers, they could easily overwhelm any planet. But they hadn't. They stayed within their home sector.
So how many planets do you live on? The human asked, changing the subject. My, what?
1,742.
She was stunned. 1,700 planets.
You've colonized all those?
Planets are not colonized, said the translator. Then, more clearly in her ear, my species does not colonize planets. We don't need to. There is only one independent juvenile on each, aside from the origin world.
She blinked. That didn't make sense.
You mean your children live alone? On whole planets?
The response chilled her.
All children.
She pressed the translator closer. Clarify that.
After a pause, the answer came. Children need space to learn. Then a fuller explanation. Each child is given a planet to grow and mature. It is essential for development. Your ship is mathematically incorrect.
She was stunned. That's very different. Humans raise children with constant care. The alien tilted its head, maybe in disapproval.
Let's start from the beginning, she said. How do you have children? Keep it simple.
I make my children.
Then came the full story. When biologically ready, the alien moved embryonic organ seeds into a pouch on its back. Over 3,700 days, a nervous system formed. Teaching began during growth, nourished by the parent's body. After another 4,000 days, the offspring became self-sustaining. Then it was placed on a planet to mature alone. That phase could take up to 24,000 days. The process consumed massive energy. Over 20,000 days had to pass before the parent could begin again. The clock slipped from her hand. By rough math, it took nearly 80 years to raise one child, and this being had done it 6 times.
She asked quietly, "How old are you?"
Later, Anya Sharma slumped in her chair. The meeting replayed in her mind, recordings transferred, instructions logged. A side screen showed transcript data, but she wasn't reading it.
A voice came through the console. Recordings received. Any other instructions?
Not right now.
I will disconnect.
It was a bizarre way to start a conversation. She tried again, going into the diplomatic introduction she'd prepared.
Yeah, sure.
See you at the next check-in.
Minutes passed. She got up and walked to the cooking station. She needed water, a hot protein meal, and something sweet, badly. As the cup filled, her mind returned to that final revelation. The alien had asked for a long rest. It was 998 years old, almost 1,000. The aftermath of first contact. Neil's mind reeled. 998 years old, almost 1,000, and 6 children, each raised on an entire planet. Alone, for decades. The sheer scale of it was mind-boggling. It wasn't just a different biology. It was an entirely different philosophy of life, of growth, of existence itself. Her species, so numerous, so interconnected, so reliant on constant care and shared experience, had just encountered beings who defined childhood as solitary planetary stewardship for nearly a century. She slumped deeper into her chair, the console's soft hum a stark contrast to the storm in her thoughts. The recordings had been sent, the instructions logged, but the data was more than just information. It was a paradigm shift.
Recordings received. Any other instructions? The console voice chirped.
Not right now, Neil murmured, her voice distant.
I will disconnect.
I am Ambassador Anya Sharma, sent to represent humankind. I come in peace, to form a bond between our species and share knowledge. Yeah, sure.
See you at the next check-in.
The screen went dark, but the silence was not empty. It was filled with the echoes of Xylar's words, of the vastness of its life, and the chilling implications of its solitary upbringing. Neil got up, the weight of the new understanding pressing down on her. She walked to the cooking station, needing the mundane comfort of routine. Water, a hot protein meal, something sweet, anything to ground her. As the cup filled, her mind returned to that final revelation. The alien had asked for a long rest, and now she knew why. The next meeting was a week later, after a flurry of intense human analysis and debate. Neil, armed with new questions and a deeper, albeit still incomplete understanding, returned to the alien ship. The room was the same, the barrier still opaque until her arrival. Xylar's translator chirped its familiar greeting, its synthesized voice now less jarring, more a gateway to profound thought.
Welcome back, representative of humans. I am joyful to see your return and hope you have rested and recharged. I am sorry again about the break, but I am now ready to engage in more discourse.
Neil smiled, a genuine, if weary, smile. Thank you, Xylar. I have rested, and I've learned much. Thank you for your patience.
The conversation that followed was different, slower, more deliberate. Neil asked about the purpose of solitary planetary rearing. Xylar explained it was to foster ultimate self-reliance, to allow for uninterrupted deep learning from the environment itself, unburdened by the complexities of social interaction during critical developmental phases. They learned to shape their thoughts into reality, to manipulate quantum vacuums, to build their ships and even terraform planets with pure intent and intricate understanding of universal laws, rather than through external machines. Their technology wasn't built, it was manifested through a profound connection to the fabric of reality, a connection honed through centuries of solitary contemplation on their learning planets. Humans, with their bustling cities, their intricate social structures, their reliance on tools and shared knowledge, were a stark contrast, yet Xylar found humanity's rapid collective innovation, their ability to specialize and combine knowledge across billions of minds, equally fascinating. They saw humanity as a different kind of maker, one that built through collaboration and iterative design, rather than solitary manifestation. The initial fear Xylar felt about humanity's numbers began to transform into a cautious respect for their collective potential. And for Neil, the initial shock of Xylar's alienness gave way to a profound awe for a species that embodied self-sufficiency and a deep, almost spiritual, connection to the universe.
Why is it incorrect, your ship?
Over the ensuing months, these unique diplomatic exchanges continued. The data flowed both ways. Humans learned about the fundamental principles of shape-based technology, not to replicate it. They couldn't, not with their current understanding of reality, but to expand their theoretical physics. Xylar, in turn, gained insights into human social structures, their rapid technological evolution through shared knowledge, and their complex emotional landscape. This first contact, so fraught with misunderstanding and near catastrophe, slowly transformed into a bridge between two radically different forms of intelligence. It became a testament to the idea that even the most alien of beings could find common ground, not by becoming alike, but by understanding and respecting their profound differences. The reports from Ambassador Anya Sharma's mission, once classified at the highest levels, eventually filtered through the galactic community. The tale of the unarmed humans, their incredible power, and their unexpected encounter with the solitary ancient makers spread. It was a story that challenged preconceptions about power, about civilization, and about what it truly meant to be intelligent, while the wider galaxy still grappled with the implications of humanity's long peace. As chronicled in the previous historical accounts, this specific encounter with Xylar's species became a quiet, yet powerful example. It showed that peace wasn't just about the absence of weapons. It was about the presence of understanding, the willingness to look beyond the familiar, and the courage to embrace the utterly alien. It was a foundation stone in the new galactic order, proving that true peace could indeed be built, one impossible conversation at a time.
I don't understand the question.
Why did you build it like that? Your ship?
She had no idea how to answer. She hadn't built the ship. She wasn't an engineer. But now that she thought about it, their ship looked clunky and brutal next to this sleek, organic-looking alien vessel. She offered the best answer she could.
It was built for long-distance exploration, based on proven design principles. May I ask your name?
The alien raised one of its smaller arms and pointed at her. The translator chirped again. This object. 2 objects. They are exactly the same.
It took her a second to realize it was referring to the insignias on her pressure suit, shoulder patches, mirrored on both sides. She took them off and laid them on her forearm.
These are ceremonial, symbols of my role as ambassador. They're always identical, designed that way.
Still pointing, the alien asked, "How did you build them? Exactly the same?"
She hesitated. I don't know how they're made. I think.
How do you not know? The voice was louder now, and the alien leaned closer to the glass.
She shifted in her seat. The questions didn't feel like diplomacy anymore. Was this even their official representative, or was she being interrogated? Meanwhile, the alien, Elder Xylar, was just as confused. The human was far smaller than expected, and oddly beautiful, yet her ship looked aggressive, like it was designed to offend the very laws of space. The fact that this tiny creature didn't know how her own ceremonial patches were made, that was the biggest shock.
Xylar tried to steer the conversation toward biology. Your insignias are beautiful. I'm sorry if I was too direct. Maybe you could help me understand your shared consciousness. How do you communicate over stellar distances?
The translator relayed the human's confusion, followed by a short explanation of ship-to-ship communication using quantum entanglement. Not what she meant.
I meant how you speak to each other across vast distances. How do you remain connected outside voice range?
More confusion.
She tried again. Since you arrived, I detect no signals from or to you. But you're clearly aware, clearly linked to your hive mind. I want to make sure I'm not harming your connection.
Still nothing but confusion.
She finally asked outright, "How does your hive mind work?"
This time, the human responded clearly.
We're not a hive mind. I'm an individual.
That couldn't be. The alien initiated a full-spectrum communication block in the room, just to test it. The human showed no reaction. It was true. This human functioned entirely alone.
The translator device chirped with what sounded like emotion. Impossible. You are too small.
Ambassador Anya Sharma stood up instinctively. She was taller than most humans. Maybe not impressive here, but still, she tried to reframe the discussion.
There seems to be confusion. Please help me understand how size relates to intelligence in your species.
The alien stared at her. Finally, the translator blurted.
Brain big. Intelligence high.
Frustrating. The translator was breaking down. The answers were too short, too vague. She tried to close the meeting politely.
Perhaps I should return to my ship for now and...
How did you build your ship?
I didn't build it.
Did you build your coverings?
She looked at her suit. It fit her perfectly, but she didn't make it.
No, I didn't build anything I brought. Then she asked, did you build your ship?
The alien was clearly confused by the question, then answered.
Yes. I am the maker of my ship.
Anya Sharma was stunned. It had designed and built a starship, alone.
Excited now, she pressed further. With your hands?
The alien looked offended. Yes.
She asked again, carefully, do you have machines that build ships?
A machine cannot build.
Anya Sharma began pacing. The implications were staggering. This being had no machines, no computers, no factories. It did everything by hand. She, on the other hand, used equipment designed and built by countless specialists. Not a hive mind, but humanity worked like one. She opened her hand and laid the insignias back on her forearm.
These were designed by a group of people, then made identical by a machine.
The alien shifted, then lowered itself until its huge eyes were level with hers. Tell me more.
Back aboard her ship, Anya Sharma sat in the communications room, a cable still trailing from her suit. The room was packed with tech, screens, processors, and backups crammed into every available space. She rubbed the back of her head, playing with her curls as she tried to relax.
A voice on the screen checked in. Got the recordings?
Yeah, let me know if the data held up.
All good. Orders?
Get everyone we have on it. Full team. Analyze every word that translator said.
What about the device itself?
Anya Sharma glanced at the disc, smooth, beige, organic-looking, completely alien among the clean human tech.
I've got it. No power source, no emissions. No clue how it works. Ran it through the scanner. Get your people on the results.
How much time do we have?
2 hours max. I might lie down, but I won't sleep. Just move fast.
Got it. Rest if you can.
Thanks. Talk soon.
The screen went dark. Anya Sharma leaned back. One meeting and everything had changed. Hundreds of minds were now working to decode this contact, spreading the effort across people, sharing experience and knowledge. Wasn't that kind of like a hive mind? She shook the thought off. There was too much to process already. That first meeting had ended with the alien asking to rest, and that's when Anya Sharma, proud of her foresight, had pulled out a mechanical clock, just in case. Of course, she glanced at the embedded clock on the printer's display. Only 3 minutes left. At least the printer was nearly done, its head twitching as it laid the final layer onto the 2 cable-bound devices. Seconds later, it beeped. Done. Anya Sharma picked up what looked like an earpiece and a small flat rectangular device, both now shiny black from the hardening process.
Mount the main unit to your suit where it can best pick up the translator audio output. The earpiece is for your right ear. There may be a noticeable delay before the message is fully heard, depending on how dense the information is. The interpreter uses the same no emission standards as the rest of your gear.
Okay then. Till the next break.
Goodbye and good luck.
A minute later, Ambassador Anya Sharma was back in the meeting room. The interpreter was in her hand, and the translator's main unit was now secured to her chest plate. The far wall remained opaque as before, but the room itself had changed. The walls felt narrower, the ceiling lower, or was the floor higher? The stool from earlier had been replaced with a proper chair, complete with a backrest. Her clock was still there, resting untouched. She left it in place, standing with anticipation. Then the barrier between her and the alien turned translucent. She was ready this time. The massive sapient being was staring at her again with those intense, oversized eyes. It was lying prone, resting on thick arms, looking more relaxed than before. The translator felt different in her hand, subtly so.
Greetings. Again. chirped the thin voice of the translator.
She held her breath until the earpiece delivered the synthesized version.
Welcome back, representative of humans. I am joyful to see your return and hope you have rested and recharged. I am sorry again about the break, but I am now ready to engage in more discourse.
She couldn't help but smile. There was a lot of excitement in the human's greeting, more than expected, and something was new. Xylar noticed a strange dark object clinging to the human's suit, with a thin wire leading to one of the audio inlets on their head. Its purpose was unclear, but its craftsmanship was impressive. Trying not to overstep again, she asked,
I noticed you've brought something new. It has a strange but finely crafted shape. Is it as interesting as your timekeeping machine? I still find that fascinating. I'd be happy to learn more about your machines.
After the translation, there was a delay. The humans stood still for a long moment before responding. When they did, there was excitement in their tone, almost jubilance. They explained it was a device meant to complement Xylar's translator. Since her way of speaking wasn't fully understandable to humans, they had built this interpreter during the break, and now the human could hear everything she said. Xylar felt both wonder and shame. Her translator clearly hadn't been up to the task. Maybe she had misjudged the human's audio communication entirely. She had nearly ruined this first contact. Reflexively, she clicked in frustration, an undiplomatic gesture she hoped the human wouldn't notice. She quickly asked a question to distract from her slip. A low sub-bass snap vibrated through Anya Sharma's bones, barely audible, no sign of where it came from. The alien didn't react, and for a moment, Anya Sharma thought she imagined it. That's when she realized the ship was completely silent. No background hum, no ambient noise, just her movements and the translator. Lost in thought, she still jumped when the translator spoke.
How did you build it? So fast?
I am glad you could make up for my translator's inadequacy. I'm very interested in how you managed to design and build the interpreter in such a short time.
Anya Sharma nodded, ready for this question.
I have a machine on my ship. It can weave metals and plastics into parts, which I can assemble into any small machine I need. I sent the audio to my friends, like I mentioned before, and they designed the interpreter. The machine built it in under 2 minutes. But I saw you change this room too. That was fast as well.